Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Here we have a sponsor for you today. You know who it is? Haven Cottage Investment, my only sponsor. If I had other sponsors, I'd talk about other things, but we can't ignore how awesome Haven Cottage Investment is, all right? If you are in Texas, okay, and you're looking to buy property, if you're looking to sell property, if you're looking to rent something, if you're looking to lease something out, all right, anything and everything related to property and real estate, contact Haven Cottage Investments, okay? These people are the bee's knees, all right? They know everything about anything. They know what they're doing. They can provide advice. They can help you out. Literally, this is the best way to sell or buy or lease or rent or anything, okay? If you're just curious, look, I'm young and I just moved out, all right? Haven Cottage Investment helped me find an apartment complex, okay? This is a good idea, all right? If you're young, if you're old, if you're super old, if you're super, super, super old, doesn't matter the age group, all right? Give Haven Cottage Investments a chance, all right? All the information is down below in the description, email, phone number, whatever it is. And if you mention the podcast, all right, in Texas, you get half off the commission rate. All right, again, Haven Cottage Investments. And without further ado, here's the show.
One more podcast.
I guess to get the sound, I don't know.
Oh.
All right, welcome back to the One More Podcast. I am with my two favorite people in the entire world. You don't have to look at the camera. I don't know. I might look at the camera every now and then, but don't have to. Just pretend it's not there.
Got it.
So yeah, two favorite people in the world. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Shelly.
And Itai.
All right.
Which is funny because last time you said we were the two most horrible people in the
Oh
world.
really?
Yeah.
I don't. You see, I just say so much, and it just comes out, and
Uh-huh.
I don't remember it. So yeah. All right. So when I was driving here, I had a list of topics / ideas / whatever to talk about, but this one thing that I read about is got me really fired up, and over the weekend I think it happened. Did you guys see that video of that kid that was talking about bullying and stuff like that? That little kid?
Yes.
Okay, so did you hear the stuff about his mom?
Kind of.
Okay.
So maybe you can explain it a little more because I heard bits and pieces that were.
All right, so this kid is, this tiny, I'm guessing maybe elementary school kid, maybe middle school kid, gets bullied, and, he's being made fun of, called names and all that kind of stuff. So just your traditional bullying, I guess, story, which I don't get why that's still a thing, because I just feel like we're so PC about everything, and we're so, careful about what we say that you think that the schools would have a tighter grip on bullying, but I don't know. It still happens. So this kid makes this video, and it goes, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It goes huge, blows up, that everyone's supporting the kid, and then I think some random third party even made a GoFundMe for the kid, which I don't know why it needs a GoFundMe, but it happened. So
And a lot of celebrities are also reaching
Yeah,
out to
celebrities
kids.
are
yeah,
endorsing it.
it was Chris Evans was inviting him to premiere, and then some other actress was inviting him to the premiere.
Yeah, the college Tennessee football quarterback reached out to him. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So total, everyone just is in support for this kid and totally outspoken. So that apparently the mom, though, is some Confederate racist, because if you go on her if you went on her Facebook profile, I don't know what's public now, but she had pictures right after the Charlottesville thing, all that stuff was happening. She had a picture with her and her family. They were all holding a Confederate flag or something like that, and she had some post about oh, are you bleeding? Are your bones showing? Well, then stop complaining or something like that. And so it was just this huge backlash because this mom was this quote unquote racist. Then the kid's a racist, and so he's shouldn't be given any kind of sympathy or something like that. And then something that I read, that there were rumors or whatever, but obviously can't be proven, that the kid was actually saying the N-word and stuff like that, and so that's why the kids were bullying him and picking on him. So it's just this huge toss-up, and I just don't know why it's a thing. It just kind of irks me that this is not necessarily this specific example, but kind of bullying in general, and just there's this whole big media attention about just kids being dumb. So I don't know. Do you guys thoughts? Because I'm thinking like growing up, did you guys have? Excuse me, I'm a man. Do you guys have any kind of bullying experiences? / did you see it? / did you hear about it growing up? Because for me, I didn't have any of that. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think bullying happens in every school, and I think it's even worse nowadays than it ever was before, because now we have the internet, and it's like cyberbullying, and you hear these stories about girls sending, especially it happens probably the most, I think, around girls, and they text each other, from like random phone numbers, and it's like, go kill yourself, and like, you're a slut, and this is like 9th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, and it's just shaming a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's messy, and it always has been. Yeah, I mean, bullying was going on. I didn't see it at all really in senior high, but then maybe some in Jasper in 9th, 10th grade. And then I think middle school is the worst, and I think this kid is in middle school.
Okay.
And yeah, and I don't think that he would be like calling names or anything like that. Like that, if that's a rumor that went out, I mean, that's probably just said to defend, the bullies who are doing it. But
True.
But I would never like.
So
you could tell that he was very.
Oh,
I've seen the video. Like he was so sincere about it, and like if he was
sure.
doing something to provoke it, like that's.
I don't know if I agree with that.
What do you mean?
I don't know if you can tell from the video that the kid didn't say the word or did say the word. Like, you don't know.
Okay, you can't just make accusations saying that he did say the word.
I completely agree with you.
He's.
But you also can't say that he didn't say it. You don't know.
Okay,
and
well, in
that's
this
my
case,
problem.
he's the victim for sure, and there's no, there's not even an argument about that. Like, he's definitely the victim.
No,
People are like throwing food out and pouring milk on him, like putting their hand up, his clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, he's definitely the victim. I don't care about anything.
So things might have been over the line, but also, and not even to go this far, and maybe there's something that I don't know, but like, how do you know that really happened?
I don't know. I mean, you have a point.
How do you know? Like,
how do you know that
did
any
the school
allegation
release anything?
How do you know that any allegation happens to anybody?
You don't.
Okay,
but
so
that's the
let's
thing.
not
Is, like,
believe
did the
any
school
racist
release
or
anything about
rape.
it?
Let's
That's
not
not what
believe
I'm.
any rape
That's not what I'm
allegations.
saying.
Let's not believe any.
Did the school release anything about it? Because I'm sure if there was food throwing and if there was whatever, then the school would have known
It's
about
not
it.
food throwing, Shelly. It's bullying.
You just said that they like.
Well, it's
poured
not
milk
like
down
it wouldn't be
It's
like
not
a
like
full
a
up.
food fight.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
It
not
a,
a
doesn't
food fight in
matter,
the
but
cafeteria.
I'm sure the school had to find out about it, right?
that's
Probably
not necessarily true.
No.
I'm sure bullying happens
Yeah,
in the
bullying
bathrooms.
happens. Yeah,
and,
like it's not like people see it. I mean, like
I don't know. With how big that this has gotten, I'm sure that the school had.
Oh,
to
I'm
do
sure. Well, I
something
mean,
with
'cause
it.
now
this-
they will.
yeah,
but
they'll definitely have a response.
But-
now, I mean, like they didn't see it. You know how many kids were at Jasper? Like, can you imagine if one kid in the middle of the thing, like somebody walked by and poured milk on him, laughed and walked away? Like, who would have said anything? Like, and would the school have made a public statement about that? No.
I think
like,
people, with how big this has gotten, I think that
Okay,
the school would
it's
have said
gotten
something.
big now. It
Yeah.
didn't get big.
And I still didn't hear anything.
Okay, what are you like doing research about it?
No,
every day?
but still, like, first, so one, pause. We have to determine if what he said was true or whatever. Which, okay, let's say that it was. You can't sit here and say that you know that he didn't say anything to instigate those other people. You don't know that.
Oh my gosh, that's what bullying is. Like, there's no way that you like bullying is just that. Like he was like in tears in the video. Like it's not like
This
Yeah,
kid,
like,
def-
this kid
like it broke
was-
my heart watching this video.
I mean,
honestly.
this you don't even you must have not seen the video because like
No,
this kid
I
was
did,
like legit. You could feel it. Like
Yeah.
you really could feel it. He was not any kind of an aggressor.
And I don't know
to-
any
to-
kid that can like lie that well.
Yeah, there's nobody on the planet that can do that.
I don't think so. At least
I
for a
don't
kid.
know.
I mean,
Nobody on the planet could do that.
well, so to kind of back away for a second. So like to how you saw it in growing up and stuff like that. You because I know you kind of slightly touched on it. So you didn't really see any bullying either of you guys in school. You didn't.
Nothing
Nope.
to that extent for sure. Like nothing where like food was being thrown and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. But and hands up people's,
Sure.
you hear those stories about like dunking people's heads in toilet, like from movies
Sure.
and shows.
Right.
But like I never had even heard of anything like that happening.
Really? So it was,
but
for the most part, just kind of a...
it was like name calling and you're a bitch or whatever. I mean, I don't even know like what was it really. It was like a lot of name calling, but
Okay.
now I know now it's worse than it's ever been, just because the availability of like texting. Everybody's got a phone, like sending messages.
I don't know. I feel like I'd kind of argue the opposite, just because of that, because it's so open and because it's so, if you have a Twitter account and you're caught bullying, well, okay, there goes your entire profile, because
they make fake profiles. For
Yeah,
that. Like, that's
no,
not
I would agree that it's definitely more common.
Really?
now. Oh yeah.
way
So
more
even
now.
people can get, because I know specifically, like, we'll just reference real quick to Charlottesville, a lot of people were specifically looking for those people and able to identify them with their face, and they blasted their
but
social profiles.
The
and
reaction
stuff like
on both sides is it's easier now because we have public. Everybody's got a profile. Everybody's got, but it's not necessary. Like it makes the bullying worse, but it also makes it easier to catch the criminal or whatever.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
but it's
well,
like
sure.
But there's a lot of
the whole
you
like
can make
cyberbullying.
cyberbullying is the worst it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like for sure. I'm
Really?
sure of it. Yeah.
I mean,
Obviously it doesn't affect me because I'm way older than this age.
well,
but
no, I mean, I feel like
teenage girls, it's probably who it's most affecting. And like you hear about these stories of like suicide and like, just now I feel like in high school suicide is worse than it's ever been, mostly because of that. So. But the thing is, I mean, to have like an anti-bullying initiative, where it's everybody talks about, bullying is wrong. Like you'll never get anybody to say bullying is right. So like I feel like those are kind of pointless to say that bullying is wrong. Like I think it needs to be disciplined in the school more severely than it is. But to like have adults and parents and people come out and like fundraise, I don't know, like rally the troops to like anti-bullying awareness. Everybody wants, nobody. You'll never talk to anybody who's like, "Yeah, I'm really for bullying." Like, I really agree with the concept of bullying.
Well, I mean, to the extent that we have, I don't think the schools have that ability to, sure they can suspend teachers or they can,
suspend teachers.
Well, it's a whole sphere, because like I remember there was one high school or something where, and I guess this is kind of a tangent of bullying, but still, it was like an abuse for this cheerleader was trying to like. She was forced to do the splits.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So, the teacher was suspended. The kids, I think the kids only got like a slap on the wrist for that. So I honestly don't remember. But I don't think I've ever heard of a story where a kid gets bullied and then the person who's the bully gets expelled or something like that. I think they've only been a slap on the wrist, because if that ever happens, the kid gets expelled or whatever, the school goes overboard. I think they're worried that then the parents are going to rally and they're going to, doesn't matter what the situation is. So
they're afraid of retaliation for sure. And that's the problem. I mean, that's why kids these days, it's like terrible to be a teacher nowadays. And I feel so bad for teachers because kids can act terribly. You're not allowed to touch them. You're not allowed to say anything bad to them. Like if they don't want to listen, like you have to like reason with them. Like everybody's got ADHD, ADD, like everybody's got all these medications, 504 plans, like all these things that everybody expects, their child to be the king of the universe. And like I dated a teacher for a long time, so.
Oh really? So
so I know
heard the
all
horror
about,
stories.
I mean it's terrible, and she got teacher of the year. She's a very good teacher, but she's suffering now. I know that for sure because she's in a school where she's got like the worst kids. Hopefully the parents of the kids don't listen to this show.
But
I'm saying like it's real bad.
Yeah, the horror stories that my stepmom in high school and stuff like that, and it's even it kind of even stems to like the faculty to an extent, because some of them they just get used to it, and that's just they don't care, so they're gonna let the kids run wild and they're gonna let the kids slip by. I think kind of an overarching complaint that she had was the coaches that also taught like history or did that kind of government or whatever it was, they would let their kids slide because they want the athlete to have all C's or whatever so that they can play. And so it's definitely I don't know how it was. I'm sure it was probably like that before, but it's definitely on both sides. For yes, the kids and the parents are horrible, but you don't have a bunch of teachers rallying to do anything about it. So
Well, the teachers can only do so much. I mean, I'm speaking because I know like
Sure.
a lot of teachers. I know teachers that are very good at what they do, and so there are those coaches that don't care. There are those coaches that do care. It's like there's some of every type, but the problem right now is that the when I was growing up, and actually before I was growing up, I mean, my parents' generation, the teachers were always on the side. The parents were always on the side of the teachers, and now parents are on the side of the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like their kid can do no wrong. Their kids are perfect, and you Miss Teacher, you're the reason why my kid is not succeeding. It has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't listen to anything anybody says. He talks out loud all the time. He gets in trouble all the time.
right.
It's like, oh, you're the reason, teacher. So they put the blame on the wrong party, and it's just
So
and
why-
and they can't expel them because the problem is like they need money for the school
True.
needs money, and so they get money per student that's there every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so to expel kids for those things, it's like becomes a big PR nightmare for them. But they have to figure out another way, and they have to be able to. In my opinion, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't have a good.
you don't have an idea of how
Well,
we
it's
can
like,
fix the school system?
I would say like kick out students who are not like parents need to be harder on their own kids. That's the
Yeah.
only way.
Well, why? So all of a sudden, well, I don't know if it's all of a sudden, but why this change? Why is it now that the parents are siding with the kids?
Because it's just more lax and like
Yeah.
parents
There's helicopter parents now, and have you heard of the term helicopter
Of
parents?
course,
Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like it's less so now than it used to be.
Oh.
Like in terms of like parents just they're either working or they just don't care as much, or they let their kids do anything they want.
Oh, that's
I don't
like
think
the
it's
opposite of what.
I mean, yeah, I think it's that, but I think it's a mix of things and more along the lines of. Sorry, apparently.
do you need another cigarette,
Yeah.
hon?
I think it's more like the whole, and I don't want to say like everything I've said so far is controversial, but the whole like ADD, ADHD thing. Now, like when you were, I feel like now every kid has ADD or ADHD, and I feel like that was not a thing 30 years ago. So like
Wasn't
not
a thing 10
only is
years
it
ago.
not only is it the parents are changing, but also like everything in our culture is changing, and it's more okay to not that it's not okay to have it, but not only is it okay, but like it makes the kids seem like
Well,
beyond normal, and so like it's just this whole culture vibe that's completely changed.
well,
I think that's what.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to touch on it appears that more kids are having all of these classifications. I think it's just because we now have a definition for it. So I genuinely think there have always been kids who are a little eccentric, a little zany, extra wild.
And that's
No,
called being a
and-
kid.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
not called ADD ADHD. Yes, it does exist maybe, but for very rare cases. But it's like I think they've already done studies, and they said like the person who came up with the terminology ADD or
the
ADHD
attention
or something.
deficit disorder or whatever.
Yeah, I think he was quoted saying that he initially did it to get more money to make money on like
Really?
medications. Yeah.
Wow,
And so
okay.
like but now everybody's diagnosed with ADD, and there's not like a set diet. It's not like if you're any kid can just act up, and basically now parents give it an excuse. So now parents are saying
Right.
like oh well my kid does it not because he's a kid or he's a bad kid or he doesn't listen. It's because of this disease. That he
Yeah, I
has.
think
Like,
I think that's where. So like when a kid is acting up or when a kid is whatever, instead of blaming it on discipline or parenting or how they're treating their child or the environment or anything, they're just saying, oh well, my kid got tested for ADD and they're positive, so
Well,
it is what it is. Like
I have to just slightly agree, just because and again, this happened a long time ago. I don't necessarily remember it 100%, but I was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD or whatever it was, and I was put on medication for it. And my mom will swear up and down about when I was on it, I was just like this zombie. So I would going from this eccentric, wild kid, bouncing off walls. You guys obviously
We
knew me as a
remember those
kid.
days.
Right.
Yes, there was very horrible time whenever I came to your house. But and so I just was a complete and total change. And so, maybe I feel like maybe the definition has widened, and we probably are letting more kids who might kind of like the difference between like having Asperger's versus like full-blown autism. And so I think we were widening that gap so that parents who have just kind of a slightly allowed kid, well, something might be wrong.
Sure. So, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah, go for it.
were you on medication throughout your middle school and high school?
No, not my entire.
And
it was.
how was middle school and high school for you?
Oh, it was totally fine.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
So you weren't on
So
medication.
you didn't have ADHD, and you were just a rambunctious child, which is fine.
Sure.
It's just like you don't like lose ADHD.
No, I understand.
So,
yeah.
like,
And
you don't have it.
no, and I'm not
you were on
claiming that I do.
And
Yeah.
you were on medication for it.
Yeah.
And so like happens to a lot of kids. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I'm
No,
saying.
and I'm like I said, I'm not trying to claim that I'm the sole reason why your argument is invalid. Not like no, I'm just it's a thing that I feel like has because I don't know when was a kid like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. I don't remember my age, something like that. So it's been a thing, and it's been a thing since the 90s or whatever.
But it wasn't a thing when I was growing up.
Really, you didn't.
Nobody
that
had
term-
ADHD. Like, nope. I didn't even know what ADHD was until probably like high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, maybe even college, to be honest with you, because like I knew people that were
I
taking
mean, I'm
like
sure people have
Adderall
it, but now
and
it's
Ritalin.
now
Yeah.
it's turned into a much bigger.
Well, Shelly, did you know anyone who had ADD or ADHD growing up?
I don't know, maybe one or two. But
That's so weird because I know like a handful of people like growing up in middle school and high school that had ADD or
sure, so
sometimes-
that's,
all-
a
that's our
handful.
point.
But
Well,
now,
no,
Yeah.
right.
now you go into a classroom and people are saying that 40 to 50% of those kids are ADD and ADHD.
Yeah.
That was not
And they
a thing.
special learning, like
Yeah.
not
They need to
disabilities,
be
but
able
like
to
they
take
need.
Well, so then
tests
why the change? It's just parents are lazy now.
Parents are not able to keep good, because some parents do a great job, but like there's a lot of parents who are not doing a great job with, and a lot of it has to do with the environment. Like kids are now exposed to a lot more with the internet, and they are also their attention spans are much shorter than they've ever been, just because like they're all playing, they want to be entertained at all times. So like, they're playing Xbox, they're on the internet, they're on the computer, they're texting.
There's a really funny bit again. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
And I mean, I still think Louis C.K. is funny, no matter what BS or what truth or whatever it is. I still think he's funny. The old stuff before everything blew up, he had, and I mean he spoke truth, and I believe a lot of what he said in this one bit specifically. He was talking because a big thing was he talked about his kids when he was joking around and stuff like that, and so one of the jokes was he was talking about one of his daughter's friends or something like that, and he was just crazy, wild, yelling, screaming, bouncing off the wall, needed video games, needed iPad, needed whatever. And he was saying it's like, well, parents are sticking their kids in front of this TV that's always like, hey, here's a cartoon, here's a thing, here's a commercial, here's a whatever. And so, of course, their attention span's going to, like, shrink a little bit because it's like I'm constantly being flooded with these hyperactive shows. And then as soon as you're pulled away from it, it's like, what now? Yeah, the outside is not going to entertain me because it's not in my face. So
we were at Medieval Times on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting next to this family. There's this kind of old, creepy guy sitting next to me. But anyway, next to him, there was this kid. And Medieval Times is not made for, like, adults, but we were there as adults.
Sure.
We probably
weird.
had more fun than anybody there.
celebrating
Celebrating
a friend's
a 30th birthday.
Oh, all right.
But sitting next to us, there was this kid watching TV on an iPad. And
Really?
I'm like, you are at a place that is made to entertain children.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately made to entertain children.
Yeah.
And you're giving your kid an iPad.
That's also true. I mean,
Like,
what age did you guys get like cell phones? When was your first cell phone?
I was
7th grade. But it was emergency only.
Yeah,
and it was
mine
because
10th grade for bus.
yeah, I was carpooling with 3 or 4 other people, and like one day my mom would pick us up, and one day the other parents would pick us up, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents gave me one just to make sure that it was John McCarty and Zach Wager. Those are right. Shout out. So I got one just in case something went wrong.
Just calls? No
Yeah,
text
just
messages?
calls.
Oh, we did. Text messages weren't a thing until I was like
Yeah.
at least
really?
a junior or maybe a senior.
It was
Okay.
just phone
Yeah,
calls.
Okay. Yeah, I believe mine was like this really crap like $10 flip phone, and I think I was in maybe 7th grade also. I didn't have any texts. I did have calls. I think again the primary reason was for emergencies, but I think it wasn't specified, so it wasn't as restricted. But I get it. So,
Right.
but it's like now I see these kids with iPhones and stuff like that, and because I specifically remember, and it like baffled me. I was returning a thing from Walmart, and I was in the line, and there was like a lady in the other cashier or whatever, and she was like talking the cashier's ear off about God knows what, and like behind her, like a good, I don't know, good 5 to 6 feet away, this kid was just in a shopping cart, and he was just like playing this monster truck game on his phone or something, and I was just like, someone could obviously just walk off with your kid. Like, how is this possible? What are you doing? This kid is like a zombie just staring at this phone. Like, it's insane. And I do agree on that point that, you know, kids are nowadays specifically are just blasted in the face with technology.
Yeah, I mean, so I have one story, and then it kind of deviates into another story that
Go for
we
it.
can probably start a
Do it.
conversation. But, you know, I teach at a dance studio, and I won't specify which one, just to keep, you know, and
Wait, do you
anonymity.
teach at a dance studio? Is
I
that a
do
thing?
teach.
Okay, all
I
right,
do
cool.
teach at a dance studio. And we have, like, you know, the dance moms and the kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's really cute, and sometimes it's really not cute. And, like, I just saw the other day, and this dance mom thought it was so cute, bless her heart, that it wasn't her kid, it was her kid's friend. So, like, another kid that's in this group was, like, texting this mom. Whatever. It's still a little weird, but their moms are friends, so whatever.
Okay.
And the dance mom texted the kid and was like, love you. And the kid was like, don't blame ya. And then
Wow.
the mom, like, said something else. I'm like, first of all, I know for a fact that this kid is, like, maybe late elementary school, early middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Texting on an iPhone, and I know that because of the screenshot, because I saw the screenshot, and everything was blue, so I know she's got an iPhone. So, and I'm like, that is a child. That is a child that has said that. And that same kid, oh man, I'm going to get in so much trouble if we find out who this is. The same kid, I was helping a class. So I was helping the class before mine started. And I don't really know anything about the dance in this class, but the other teacher was like, Miss Shelly, do you have any constructive criticism, right? Because they see another adult, another teacher in class. So I was like, yeah, when you do this thing, just when you do this kiss, just make sure that you bend down and you lift your hand up really straight and make sure that it's really straight. And then you go into your cartwheel. And I said that twice. Well, apparently there was like a turn before the cartwheel, which wasn't even the point of my constructive criticism. And this girl, late elementary school, early middle school has to be, just ran out of the classroom and was just pissed.
Wow.
So I had to take over the class for a little bit because the other teacher was like, dang, that girl's been out of class for a while. Let me go check what's up. So she left. She came back. She's 7. She's a 7-year-old girl because the other teacher came back and was like, you royally pissed off a 7-year-old. And I was like, excuse me? She was like, yeah, apparently this girl ran outside with her mother sitting right there. And when my friend, the other teacher, came over and was like, why'd you run outside my class? The little girl was like, Miss Shelly doesn't know what she's talking about. She shouldn't be in this class if she doesn't know. I'm not going back in there if Miss Shelly's in there. I'm not doing this. You can kick me off this team if you want.
Wow.
You can do this. You can do that, blah, blah. And her mother is sitting right next to her. Which, mind you, the other teacher that taught the class was the owner of this dance studio.
Wow.
So this little girl is not yelling, but talking to the owner of the dance studio, saying that she's not going to walk back in her classroom because she feels like I don't know what I'm talking about because I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And that she can kick her off the team or whatever.
Wow.
And the mother just sits there.
Wow.
Sits there.
Oh my gosh. So what?
And not only that, but now her kid has a cell phone.
So these kids just have these inflated egos because the parents just keep inflating it for them, or?
I mean, they learn from the parents. Like, that's...
I mean, what do you do in that situation as a parent? Like, would I have ferociously embarrassed my kid in front of everybody? Probably not.
Yeah.
But the moment that they raised their voice, I probably would have grabbed them by the jacket and been like, we're going outside. Like,
okay.
We're dealing with this outside. Like,
That I know you said you had something after that, but just real quick.
that was it. So
Oh, okay.
That was the story.
Oh, sure. So, something that I've noticed when I was working at Target, and I don't know what your guys' opinions on it are, but I remember as a kid.
You'll find out.
Okay, good. Yeah, I hope so. Unless you're just quiet, then it's kind of defeats the purpose. But anyways, as a kid, I super clearly remember if we ever went out to go shopping or went to go to a place or a restaurant or literally anywhere. If I acted up, my dad would just grab me and we'd leave. And that's it. He would just pull me out and say, all right, you're done. That's it. If you can't behave, we're leaving. We're going home. And that was just my, I would say punishment, but that was just how he raised me. It was just, you're not going to be a fool out in public and you're not going to whine and complain. but it's like now I see it's because I'm just chilling out in electronics, and they're whatever toy section, clothes section, whatever, and these are people are walking by. The kids are whining and screaming and yelling, and the parents are ignoring them, and it's just like I remember specifically just because like I was so dumbfounded. This mom was just like pushing her cart, and she was just whatever, minding her own business, and this kid was just like tugging at her leg, just screaming, yelling. I don't know, it was about some toy or something.
You said you didn't know what our reaction would be. What do you think our reaction would
I don't know, like
you've known us for long enough.
No,
I
understand. I could probably guess what you would say, but I don't. Have you've seen that before?
Oh,
No, yes,
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
So
that
I think
baffles me.
we talked about this in I think our first podcast, but neither one of us like severely misbehaved.
None of you guys were troublemakers?
I don't think either of us really were.
What have you ever been grounded or taken anything away from you?
So
Yeah.
we didn't. Yeah, we had stuff
Like-
taken away from us.
Okay.
But I don't know.
We
So
were
first of all, we never got an allowance. That was never a thing. Like
Okay.
we didn't have to like get money. We didn't have to get good grades to get money. That was not our motivation. We got good grades because we knew sure as hell our parents weren't going to pay for any of our college had we not
Sure.
gotten a scholarship.
It has nothing to do with in elementary school. It has nothing to do with
Well,
college.
still,
Well,
but
it's the
all about-
mindset.
Yeah.
It's the mindset.
We were. I was not allowed to get
Yeah,
below
exactly.
an A.
Like,
you were just not
Really?
allowed
You
to
just-
get
yeah,
below an A.
you just didn't
You just
do
don't.
it.
Like you cannot. If anybody's like, if my grade I remember slipped in any class or whatever,
Yeah.
in elementary school. I mean, my mother went to go talk to the teacher. Like it was some and I mean.
and not in a way of like my kid is great. In a
Yeah.
way of
Oh,
like,
and like
how do
in
we
like
fix
a-
how can
how
I
do we
fix
fix my
how can I
child?
fix this dumb kid?
Yeah.
Like
No,
not
I
dumb,
understand.
but like
So, well, okay. So, real quick on the allowance thing, I'm iffy on that because I think that does help. I've seen it with some kids kind of instill this value of worth, where they earn this money instead of just having the unlimited supply of parent bank.
The problem with allowance that I feel like is that they feel like everything they do deserves money.
Right.
And so like I'm not going to help my parents out, doing things unless it comes with dollar bills.
Right.
Well, you don't
know,
think
and
So there was, I mean,
you
there
don't
was
think you can instill that value. I'm sorry to interrupt
That's
again, but you don't think you can instill that value of just you sit down with your kid and you say, look, we want you to help around the house, and we're fortunate enough that we can reward you for this.
No.
You don't
No.
think that would register with the kid?
that you shouldn't have to correlate the two. Like I also don't remember, like, not that we were ever denied anything when we were, I mean, but we also didn't like really want a bunch of stuff. Like they were never correlated for us.
to be
Like,
honest, we didn't have the money to do like everything we wanted to
Right.
do.
Sure.
We really didn't. I mean, growing up, my dad finished college. Like my mom worked 3 jobs while my dad was in college after I was born. Like my dad was in chiropractic school until 1996. I was 9 years old. So like he was in school until I was 9.
I
So like
understand.
no, 1995. So
But-
I was
I was
7
just
years
born.
old. I was 7 years old. But yeah, so like we didn't have money. I mean, he had just started his practice in 95 and like I mean, we did okay, like
Right.
really,
but that's not why they didn't give us an allowance. It's just
No,
like, in
no,
my
that's not the
opinion,
reason.
they should never be correlated. Like one, the kids should help their parents or help around the house or do things because they should instill the values of that, not like, hey, we want to reward you for this. Like, no, help your household and help your parents and help your family. But two, like for big things that we wanted to do or whatever, like they were never like, well, you don't deserve that because you didn't help us around the house. Like my parents were very fair in saying, okay, you can have some things that you want, but you can't have everything that you want.
Yeah.
But if you want some things a lot, then yeah, we'll figure out a way. But that means that you can't get these 5 other things. So, it's one of those. So it was never correlated for us to do good around the house or to do good grades, and then we would get a reward. We did that because we were supposed to. And then in turn, we got things that either we wanted or things like that because you're a kid, and sometimes that's
right.
what happens.
No,
if I
So,
really
like,
wanted like a game system, growing up, like I remember when I got the Super Nintendo, and I remember when I got the N64. Like, I didn't buy the N64.
Sure.
Like my parents bought it for me, but it was like a birthday gift. And I remember when I was 5, the Super Nintendo was a birthday gift for me. And so like they bought me things.
No,
that I
yeah, and that was the
wanted,
same in my
big
household.
things
Like
that
I never had. I think my mom tried to maybe do a chore system or something. I don't remember, but it didn't last very well. But I dishes, vacuum, whatever, clean my room, clean the bathroom, whatever. I did that kind of stuff, and I do agree. And I guess that's just kind of what baffles me about potentially raising kids is like, I know I was a relatively good kid. Sure, I was hyperactive. Sure, but like, I never stole. I never got in trouble. I never, did all that kind of stuff. But like, how are you supposed to train that? Or how are you supposed to like say, hey, be like me as a kid?
I don't know how many times I've said like, when I have kids, I'm just going to hand them to dad and mom. So they're going to raise the kid because I'm like a little bit scared of.
I'm going to be harsh. Like, I mean, I think I'll be fun, but I'm going to be harsh for sure. Like, yeah, absolutely.
You going to spank your child?
It's not gonna be because it's not gonna be spanking. Like,
have you ever
thought
spanked?
About that really.
No.
Okay. I was abused as a child. I'm just kidding. I was never abused.
I've never been spanked. Do you guys believe in like the one
Yes.
parent has to be a good parent and one parent has to be a bad parent?
No, not that.
No, I mean I think it is easier to.
Is it good cop, bad cop?
No, I think both parents need to have the potential to be good cop, but I think in certain. I don't know. No, I mean, if you royally mess up, like both parents are going to be bad cop, and that's going to be fine.
Well, I think if you do the good cop, bad cop, then indirectly you're just going to make your kids like whoever is the good cop. Right. They're going to always ask the good cop for everything. So, no, I thought you were going to say about the physical, and I wholeheartedly agree in spanking because I think it's.
I don't mind it as long as it's not like.
It can't be out of it can't be out of rage because I know I've heard stories of or stories as they're like horror stories, but there's some people that I follow who they have kids of their own, and at a point they were recalling their punishment, and it was always if they got in trouble or if they broke something or if they were whatever, the parents wouldn't immediately hit them. They would calm down and they would relax, and then they would explain, okay, this is why I'm going to punish you. Blah, 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 blah. And then they would do it. And it would hurt like a bitch, but, they understood. And it wasn't just like, broke something, this parent's angry, this anger in their eyes. It was always like this calm, why you're getting hit.
Right.
So I think I would mind.
If I were to do that, then I would assume that's probably the route that I would take too. Mm-hmm. But
yeah. I hope I don't have to go that route, but like.
Oh, for sure. No, I don't think anyone wants that ever.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people who like firmly believe in it. And it's not like even to hurt. It's not necessarily like, I mean, you said it hurt like a bitch. Like the people that I know that do it, they don't do it to like hurt the child. Sure. Like they do it like it's like a sting, but it's like this is associated with like minor
they're
pain.
Not,
like it's not like I'm gonna be red.
They're not getting a paddle with holes in it to get the better aerodynamics. That's not happening. They're I remember my dad told me some stories whenever he was in class, and he would be a putz in school, and he would like put chairs on his head and like dance around and be a goofball and stuff. And then the teacher had these sharp fingernails, and there was a couple times where she would grab him by the earlobe and like make his ear bleed as she pulled him out into the hallway.
See, I kind of wish you could do that kind of stuff still in schools.
Really?
Yeah, because like
I think that's such a disassociation where the kids, you have this trust with the parent and child. And then all of a sudden you have this random parent who you don't know, or adult really, this adult who doesn't know how you're being raised to then punish you.
But that's the exact problem that like the teachers have right now. Like everybody thinks their kid is a angel, and then like now in schools like you're not allowed to touch if they're acting up and being crazy and being whatever. Like you're not allowed to do anything. You can't grab them by the arm. You can't do anything like. And I think you should. I wish you were able to.
I agree to that point. I don't think a kid receiving any kind of like with a ruler or a slap or whatever. No, I don't think because my dad was still a goofball and still a shit kid growing up, even though this teacher was physically not attacking, but like punishing him. So, but I do agree. I think
to handle situations like teachers don't. I mean, I don't know how he was one of how many, but now there's like 30 kids in a class per teacher, and it's
that's true.
You don't have time. You don't have time to deal with this kind of stuff. So it's like send to the principal. A principal sends them back. It's just a mess, and it's like if he doesn't go to the principal, you have to like take time out of your teaching day to. I don't know. It's waste of time.
I do think it'd be all right if the teacher could just menacingly like grab you and just like rip you out of the classroom and then. Do whatever. I don't know. I think that'd be okay. Yeah. But then again, it's.
I'm not talking about like making kids bleed. Like I don't want to cause like physical harm. But if you're causing a distraction, I'm gonna grab you and I'm gonna take you out and another teacher, somebody else is going to have to deal with you while I'm teaching my class.
Yeah. No, I think you've done that to me a couple times before.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah,
I have no
for
problem
sure.
with that.
Yeah,
like,
no, I know. Because that's just the kind of person you are.
Because I'm
You're just
cruel
a
and
horrible, yeah. So, but yeah. So I don't know. Just it's kind of sad that we're in. Do you think that means America's gonna, kind of go down the shitter in like 20 years, where parents literally have no control and then kids are gonna take over? I mean, nothing that extreme, but
yeah. I mean, I think it's already happening where we're like losing our grip on our own children, and our own children are doing crazy things like Antifa and all this stuff. Like that's happening, and just everybody's whining about everything, and everybody needs safe spaces with things. And I think we're already going down a super PC like
you don't think we're
destructive
gonna be
road.
saved? You don't think
By who?
I don't know. Do you?
Jesus? Like who?
I genuinely have no idea. I mean, just like we're heading down this path. So how are we gonna?
I mean, I think
detour from this path.
I mean, to be honest, and then
because we have a Republican in office, and so
well, it's not even that he's a Republican. He's just somebody who doesn't put up with stuff, and I think we need somebody like him, whether it's him or somebody like him. I think we need somebody like him in office that doesn't feed into a lot of this PC culture, and I really, honestly, wholeheartedly, I believe that. And
well, okay, I have to.
People are literally like they're not getting exactly what they wanted or they expected in terms of the younger population. Typically is the one that voted for Clinton, and everything is just completely exploded. Like it's completely exploded, and they're having meltdowns, and like they need to know. People need to realize what it's like. Like I'm full-fledged Republican, but like people put up. I dealt with Obama not in the same way many people are dealing with Trump. Like,
sure. I think I do agree on that point. I think there are a lot more dangerous tactics people will use to, I guess, as a cry for attention. But I was going to say, I think, real quick, and then I don't want to make this like a talk about Trump fest, but one thing, and this happened maybe like a week ago or something, or it was a little bit ago. That just really like killed it for me because I follow him on Twitter and I'll every now and then read his post, and I think he antagonizes people, and I don't see how you can be a political leader and just be like retweeting ISIS videos or something like that, and retweeting these crazy Islamic extremists and saying, hey, look at these crazy Islamics, we need to put a stop to this. Like, how can you do that when you have millions of people following you and it's this really gory video or something like that? And he's just that's my 2 cents.
That's what that's what bothers you. But there's a lot of things that bother me about other candidates. And yes, like that bothers me. I don't like that he does that either. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like there's plenty of stuff about his personality that I can't stand. I would never be friends with Donald Trump. But like in terms of the policies that he's enacted and how he handles for at least foreign affairs. I mean, what he did with Jerusalem, just and
that is
like,
true.
And it's just like he's the only one with the balls to do something like that. Everybody. I mean, it's kind of a little off topic, but like the fact that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, it's not.
Well, I want to keep talking about that.
Yeah, we will. So I mean, it's something that's I want to say so plainly obvious, just because like that has been the eternal capital of all Jewish people. And I'm not talking about Israel. I'm talking about Jewish people like since BC times. I mean, this is not forget Israel for a second. It's literally the capital of the Jewish people. So to say and Israel was established as a Jewish state. And so like to say that we have no ties to the land or that it's like somebody else's land or somebody else's territory. I mean, to say that if they want to get biblical, to say that Muhammad came and established the land of Palestine or something, in this area, it never happened. Like he never spoke about Jerusalem. The Quran doesn't mention Jerusalem, and like it's in the Torah so many times. I mean, to say that we don't have an ancestral tie to this place is ridiculous, and the fact that like people are blowing up over it or blaming Trump for riots. Like they have riots all the time. Now they're just covering them more.
So I was gonna say. So I mean, I feel like we can all agree that what Trump spoke about Jerusalem and moving the embassy and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Let me say one thing.
Go ahead.
Because and I just recently found this out. Do you know why the embassy was ever in Tel Aviv? Most people don't. I didn't know.
Well, I don't know why.
So the embassy was in Tel Aviv, not because Tel Aviv was our capital, not because,
Sure.
but between 48 and 67, we had different borders, right? And so like the borders, basically, you know, there was like on the other side of Jerusalem is you know the West Bank, like is West Bank area. Anyway, so like a lot of that territory was not Israel's, and so that would have been on the board. Like if we would put the embassy in Jerusalem, that literally would have been on the border of like enemy fire.
Oh, really?
And so like they moved it to Tel Aviv, which is like bordering it's like the most innermost city, like bordering the Mediterranean Sea. They're like one side of the Mediterranean Sea, and then the rest of it's surrounded by Israeli land.
Yeah.
Like formerly, you know, formerly all Israeli land. So now, you know, like, but it's always been Jerusalem's always been the capital. We just had our I don't know if embassy is even the right word, but we had our like embassy. I'm not talking about the American embassy though. I'm talking about just like like we're talking about like diplomatic offices. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's why a lot of them were in Tel Aviv before, and they just never really moved them after
well, I mean,
that.
aren't we technically isn't Israel leasing us like $1 a year for like 50 years or something? The spot that the embassy would go in Jerusalem, I think, something like that. I read something that.
Oh, I don't know.
And I think that was it. But so what I was going to ask is, you know, obviously this was such a polarizing thing, and I think like, you know, 4 or 5 different Islamic states have like said that this is a horrible idea, and then it's going to cause this mass hysteria and everything like that. I was just, because I think he essentially, we're waiting for this button, and he's got his finger over the button, and every single president had their finger over this button, and Trump pressed it. And I honestly, I'm genuinely, I'm scared to what will happen, because
don't be. Nothing is different than it was. Now they give themselves a reason to say like they've hated Israel, they've hated the Jews. It's not like everything was hunky dory before he said anything.
No, and I totally agree. But it was that tension and that conflict, or at least relatively.
So you're not admitting what's already known to be true. Like, are you afraid of Islamic, you know, retaliation?
Exactly. I mean, just like how North Korea has become such a bigger threat over this past year.
But are you afraid of them? Are you willing to give into your fear to basically give them the demands?
Oh no, not at all.
It's different, Itai.
It's not different.
We had this conversation a few nights ago too.
It's not different. You cannot be scared to admit that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
No, I'm not. But I'm worried of what's going to happen.
Yeah, you also can't deny and believe me, I'm just as Israeli as you are, and you can't deny the repercussions that. Are you serious? You moved away when you were 2. Doesn't count. You can't deny that the repercussions could be very serious. And he's not saying that moving the embassy was a bad move and that shouldn't say it.
It was good.
But you also can't deny the fact that
you do need a little bit of added security now. Fine.
A little bit.
Okay, listen, like just to say that this is everything is just caused by Trump's, you know,
that's also not what they're saying. But this move can cause much further problems than if he wouldn't have done it.
I mean,
and it's so worth it.
And that's okay, but you have to understand that there will be repercussions.
Okay,
a lot more blood will be spilled because of this.
A lot more blood will be spilled.
Why? How? Okay, so we move
blood has been spilled before, and maybe you don't realize it, maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe you realize it.
Of course, we realize it.
But blood has been spilled.
No, I understand.
But
Israel has sent missiles over the border, and Palestine, or not missiles, but like they've fired over the border and they bombed areas.
Who has?
Israel.
No.
Yes, they have.
I mean,
Israel has bombed other Islamic areas. They have, and like Palestine and stuff like that. They do that all the time.
First of all, okay.
Do you want me to look up the article? I will look up the article right now.
Slow down. Israel doesn't just bomb places.
Okay, yes. I'm not saying they're doing it. They're not the terrorists.
Okay.
They're responding to
there's
Palestinians.
Rocket fire that always comes through.
Yes.
I mean, it was on a daily basis for a while.
Yes.
I mean, tens of thousands of rockets come through. And like, we become numb to what that number means. But like, if tens of thousands of rockets fell onto something the size of Dallas, Texas, or Houston, Texas, or something, like, do you not think that it's worth retaliating? I mean, do you not think?
I'm not.
Okay, but hold on. So,
and I'm
yes.
not saying Israel's not justified in what they're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, Israel has to retaliate for things.
Yes.
There was an entire war, I mean, in 2014
Yes,
about it.
yes.
So if that's what you're talking about, then fine. But the fact, like, literally, Israel is looking to avoid any kind of civilian casualties. They sent out leaflets to put on the homes. They warned the area, because they knew that missiles and rockets were being fired from that by Hamas. They literally said, we're going to take down this block or area. Everybody get out. We're not looking to kill anybody. We just want all this, all this stuff gone. All this stuff, we need to clear this area because, and it's just a bunch of cowards. I mean, they sent missiles from the bottom of Shifra Hospital, which is the hospital.
I don't think this exactly was his point, but.
Well, no. I mean, it's
like
all valid.
this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with.
But you don't think that's going to be accelerated? You don't think that Hamas or whomever or any remnants of?
I'm not willing to basically deny the history of my people and make the world and the United States and stop, because that's what it is. Because it's going to go down in history as that's what it is, and that's what happened. Yes, you know it. Yes, I know it. But 2 generations from now, if the world sees Jerusalem not as the capital of whatever, and people don't care as much, and blah blah blah. People are gonna
literally not saying no. 1 second.
Ask anybody
We're literally
now,
not saying
what's the capital of Israel.
We're literally not saying that it was a bad move and that the move should be taken back. Is that what you're saying?
No,
that the move should be taken back.
No,
that's not what we're saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
I'm just saying that there's going to be 3-4 times more bloodshed than what's going on
how
right
long?
now. I have no idea, and that's what I'm worried about.
But you guys are making up a number. You guys are saying
so
three
maybe not 3-4 times more. There's going to be more.
How many?
A little bit more.
How many? How many days was the 9 days war or something like that? What was it? 6-day war. Yeah. So you don't think in a deflated or a de-escalated situation, there's a 6-day war there? You don't think we're gonna have this long extended war now?
What do you mean a de-escalated situation? A 6-day war. The 6-day war was a big war.
No, I understand, but that was under
1967.
Under non-escalated situations, right? There's no.
It's always been. That's the thing. That's what.
But we've now turned it up to 11. We were at 8 before.
No.
Yes, Itai.
From 3 days ago to 2 days ago, maybe but it was at an 11 when Israel formed as a country. It was an 11
but this is just another.
We're just adding fuel to the fire.
Okay,
and that's okay. It's okay, and it should have happened. And it should have happened.
You're basically saying,
but you're not recognizing that it should be. So
it could cause bad repercussions. It's to you, you're like, no, it's fine, but you're saying that Israel should.
Any repercussions that happen based on a foundation of our history, I mean, they're fools for having that be. I mean, it's so frustrating to me because I feel like you're basically saying oh, he should have done it, but now there's going to be all this trouble and problems and blah blah blah.
And so but I'm not saying that he shouldn't have done it. But I think that's a
legitimate concern.
It's a concern.
Okay, you're concerned. Fine, you're concerned. I'm not as concerned as you, but you're concerned. That's fine. We can be less concerned.
I have to go see a movie. You guys are still more than welcome to finish this
up.
Oh
no, I mean we're reaching that time anyway, so yeah, it was perfect. So
all right.
Well, hold on. Let's just take a second. We're all good. Let's all.
Oh, we fought about this 2 days ago. We're fine.
Okay. All right. I don't want to come into your household and then all of a sudden, I've just split up.
We had this conversation
all right.
a couple days ago.
All right. Well then, I appreciate you guys coming on. And it's always a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think actually this is the first time we've gotten out of all the podcasts, all the guests that I've had, we've gotten heated about all this. So. Yeah. This is a new experience for me. I don't know how. I'm gonna cry on the way home. It's that's not what I wanted to happen.
No, it's totally fine. I'm good with it.
No, that's good. Anyway, so yeah, appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate everyone who stuck it to the end and all that good stuff. So, as always, my name is Yuval, and this has been a podcast. I don't have a good sign off. I'm sorry. So, anyways,
you need to get one.
Yeah. Signing off. If you,
not that one.
Day, night, whenever you listen to it, appreciate it, guys, and have a good one.
Bye.
And that is the end of the episode, everybody. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let me know why you didn't. If you enjoyed it, well, tell me. I wanna get feedback. I literally only have 1 comment so far. Anyways, just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, All right, Haven Cottage Investments. Okay, Sabrina Parker is a genius. She knows what she's doing. She's got an entire army of people right behind her willing to help her out, and she wants to help you, okay? Contact her, phone, email, questions. If you want to rent, buy, sell, lease, do whatever you want to property, okay, give her a ring, all right? If you live in the state of Texas, this is the perfect opportunity for you, all right? And again, mention the podcast. You get half off the commission rate. It's all good from here, okay? Even if you're not even sure if you want to do something, it doesn't hurt to send her an email. Just ask her a question. See if this is right for you, okay? It does not hurt. She's not going to charge you. There's no hidden fees, no BS, anything like that, okay? Give her a call, give her an email, and she will respond and guide you the right direction, okay? Again, if you live in Texas, half off the commission rate if you mention the podcast. Anything else, just ask her, all right? Be open. It's an open conversation here. Anyways, guys, have a great night, day, or whenever you're listening to the podcast.
All right, kids, show of hands. Who leaves out cookies and milk for Santa?
I do.
Oh, wow, look at all those hands. Oh, what the hell? Oh, damn it, Miss Piggy. Not now. Don't you know I'm teaching today? Yeah. Anywho, here's a song all about leaving treats for Santa. Ha-ha, woo! Oh, let's put out some treats for Santa. Let's help him stay refreshed. If you don't give treats to Santa, well, he'll feast upon your flesh. Whee! All right, look at my pig wife. Children, look at my pig wife. Look.
Excuse me, Mr. Kermit? I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm Jewish.
Detention.